Hello, everybody. Good to see you all. We have Renata today with us again. It's always a pleasure to have her with us. It's 7:15 here in Ireland, Dublin now. We are close to a second full lockdown here. It's not full this time. It's like almost full lockdown, but we are near to there. This is the reason other guys like Vanderlei, Rodrigo, and Neide cannot join us today. They are trying to save some toilet papers. But anyway, so it is what it is. We needed to move on. We need to be here. So I would like to say welcome to our brothers and sisters from Ireland, from Brazil, from America, all the listeners from Cardiac Radio. Thank you very much for your audience. It's a pleasure to be here. It's wonderful. And our friends to UK. Sorry, Cassia, I just saw you. Sorry. And our friends from UK as well. Good to see you all here. So, in order to start, I will do the initial prayer, and then Renata can do the final prayer. Or let's say, hey, do the initial prayer because now you know you have a connection. She's having connection problems there, so we know she has connection now. We don't know if she will have connection throughout the.
We have no idea.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing for sure. Stephen, thank you very much for having me. Thank you all. And thanks everyone who's listening. Thanks a million. So let's join our thoughts in Jesus. And let's say like this: Jesus, Lord, please bless this moment. Bless this time that we are going to talk about the Spiritist doctrine. Please help our hearts to receive the doctrine and to find a way to change us and to help us to be more Christians. So please, God, please help all of us. Thanks a million.
Okay, good. So, hello, Chicago, loud and clear. Very good. Good to see. Through the internet, we are very close. See the beauty.
No? It's fantastic, isn't it? It's fantastic.
The beauty. We are reaching Brazil, we are reaching Ireland, we are reaching America, we are reaching Australia, we are reaching Philippines, because there's a message here from guys from Philippines. UK, don't forget UK, Cassia. Yeah, reaching UK. So, see?
It's amazing, isn't it?
We are close but apart. Yeah.
Exactly, we are far apart, but this connection is fantastic. I couldn't think about it 10 years ago. It was not in my reality.
No way. Can you imagine if you have this kind of lockdown when we have the telephone connection with the internet, you know?
I remember the noise. Do you remember the noise? I remember the noise. Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So today we are going to talk about, I'm going to say it, okay?
Yeah, go
Why
ahead.
I have connection.
You know?
So, okay, today now we're going to talk about the Spiritists and the Spirits hierarchy. So, the Spiritist classes. What are the main classes that we categorize the spirits, and where are we in them? And also, what are their characteristics? So I hope it's not something that you usually hear about, because at some points it could be quite boring at some points, but I'll try my best to avoid it, the boring part of it. Okay, so The
Yeah,
spirits book. Go ahead.
and it's good to let know the guys know this hierarchy or classification done by Kardec. It's not written in stone. This is he just did this in a kind of educational level. So
It was his perception.
yeah, exactly, just to make in a way to allow us to understand it. It's not because oh it's this it's right there. No, no, there is no fixed order. There is no. This is not like a military hierarchy. No, no,
There is no
no.
limit because you can
Exactly,
be in one category, in another, and in the third. So you can be among a lot of categories.
exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
that's it. That's
Okay,
it.
hey, go ahead. Sorry.
No problem at all. Thanks a million. You always help. And Kardec starts talking about the impure spirits. The I'm gonna say it, and I don't like the idea, but I'm gonna say it like this: the evil spirits. So usually he starts in the bad ones and he goes to the good ones. So in the impure spirits, in the really complicated ones, there are a lot of different ways of behave. So the behavior of these spirits is quite particular. And among these, there are, okay, so the three main categories would be the imperfect spirits, the good spirits, and the pure spirits. Okay, so let's talk about the impure spirits. Usually, there is more influence of the matter than um, the moral concept. So usually, are spirits that are much more connected to matter, connected to the vices, and connected to things that I do believe that you do not know what I'm going to say. So they are connected to ignorance, pride, selfishness, envy, jealousy. I do know that you do not know what I'm talking about. Okay, I know, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway. So ignorance, ignorance. I do know that I don't really know anything about the world, okay? But I try my best to learn. A lot of spirits do believe that they know everything. And that's quite complicated because that is a really important characteristic that disclaims ignorance. So if the person believes that he or she knows everything about the world, trust me, he or she is ignorant. Selfishness. I do know about selfishness. I do know about it. Okay. Because I am selfish so many times. So many. I am selfish when I am so afraid of the pandemic, of the virus, that I don't want to go out. I don't want to go and help my brothers and sisters who are in need and they need food, especially in Brazil. They need food, they need a lot of things. And I am so afraid that I avoid leaving even to help them. So I know about selfishness. Pride. I know about pride. Man, I can talk about pride because I am so proud that I do believe that I know a lot more and that I am much more important in the world than other people. And that's horrible. But this kind of pride is still in me. Stephen, do you want to talk about something?
No, go ahead.
So, all the evil passions and jealousy and envy are among them because envy can be allocated in pride. Because if you remember the Ten Commandments, the Ten Commandments were quite good tips for us to behave like human beings. Do not envy. Okay, it's not written like do not envy, but anyway, do not envy. Do not kill. Do not. Um, it's not robbery. How do you say that in English, Stephen?
Which word?
Furtar.
Do not hold?
Maybe that's quite it. So a lot of tips that the Ten Commandments gave us, they were to help us go through the Spirit's progress and reach the highest scale faster. But then again, we didn't know then that we are spirits, and we didn't know then that spirits progress. So it's quite hard for us to realize that Moses was giving us tips to progress further, faster. Okay, Seven,
Yeah.
still here? Yeah. Okay. So then the Kardec give us a lot of different spirits in the third order or imperfect spirits. So then again, please let me know if you know someone with these characteristics, because usually it's quite good for us right now to try to think about our colleagues, our community, so we can really allocate a lot of people in these categories. So the 10th class, impure spirits, inclined to evil. Okay. 9th class, frivolous spirits, ignorant, mischievous, unreasonable, and addicted to mockery. 8th class, spirits who pretend to know more science than they do. So they do believe that they know more than they really do. And I could allocate a lot of people in this one. 7th class, neutral spirits. They are up to no good and no bad. They can do good or bad, but they're neutral. 7th class, 6th class, noisy spirits. And this one is quite unpopular today because they do not really exist anymore. It's not really a class anymore. At the time of Kardec, it was a class. Right now, it's not anymore because this kind of manifestation is not really common nowadays. Stefan, are you okay?
Yeah. I just thinking here. Uh, let's bring these classifications to our. I don't want to, let's say,
Categorize.
dismantling your train of thought. Yeah, but it's good if we can talk about uh, what is our position now in terms of in this hierarchy. Where
Come down. Come
me
down.
and you
I'm
think.
going to go to the good spirits. Come down. Come
Yeah.
down. Give me some more minutes. Come down. Don't.
Okay. See,
Okay,
that's right.
so there are the good spirits. There are the good spirits, and 4 classification in these ones. So the 5th classification would be the benevolent spirits. They are inclined to do good, and that's good. That's not something bad. Okay. 4th class, learned spirits who really know science and apply science to do good. 3rd class, wise spirits, intellectual and moral capacity quite developed. And high spirits, they unite knowledge, wisdom, and goodness. And the last class would be the first order pure spirits, which also achieved the high scale of progress, and they do not really need to reincarnate. So I would say that we are not really in this class yet because try to join wisdom, goodness, and intelligence. That's the three of them, right? I'm so lost here. Knowledge, wisdom, and goodness. So to join these three are quite hard for us. I would say not in the 9th class. But then again, I want to do good to people. I want them to feel good and to do not have all the needs that they need that they have here in Brazil. I do want to do good, but I also envy yet. And I am also jealousy of a lot of things. So I cannot really place myself in one only category, like you said at first, Stephen. I belong to a lot of these categories. And thank God I want to do good because if that's not it, I will be only in the imperfect spirits categories. Stephen?
Mhm. It's broken up. So can you say it again?
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. If you want to place yourself, where would you be? Because I would be in one category of the good spirits and at least three of categories of the imperfect spirits. So as you said at first, it's not something really divided, limited. It's a broad spectrum.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying, if we need to classify myself and how the way I see everybody, we are in the third class. You know, we are.
Mainly, yes.
Huh?
Mainly, yes.
We
We
are
also have some.
in the let's say in the third order, because in the third order we do have the impure spirits, we do have the frivolous spirits, we do have the pseudo learned spirits, neutral spirits, and disturbing spirits. And this is, at least to me, where we fit in. Okay, because
I agree
we
with
do
you.
have a lot of uh, 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 saying it. For example, let's say the, one of my train of thoughts about this. For example, uh, the planet Earth has, let's say, have around 8 billion ish people. Okay,
Hmm?
and we are saying we are in a world in which the evil it's let's say overcome the goodness. Okay, so I truly believe that, I don't know, perhaps 10 between 10 and 20% of these 8 billion people are really really bad.
Hmm.
Using the classification, they are disturbing spirits, you know, they do have envy, they don't care about the others, they just think in themselves, they 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 don't think in, they don't know what's the word, the meaning of the word charity, even though love, no, I would say. And why, if we're talking about just 20% of the 8 billion, how we are still classified as a suffering word, like, you know, Because the majority of the people are in the neutral position. We
Exactly.
don't do good and neither
Too bad.
bad, so we don't care.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
that's the only reason why the we have the impression the evil is winning all the time. Let's say this,
Yeah,
because
the re-
we don't do good. We just, oh, I don't care. It's okay.
exactly. And there is a phrase, I don't remember where in the gospel, that says that the good is it's not it's shy. The good is shy if you compare
Yeah,
to evil.
yeah, it's like this. Like it does when we see something wrong. Sometimes when we act upon it, sometimes they, I don't know, what the difference are gonna do? What's my opinion here? Well, I don't need that. So we just let it go,
Exactly.
and we miss that opportunity to do some good somehow.
And yes, that's it. That's it. And we wait for a divine intervention to do
Yeah,
the good
yeah,
that
yeah,
we did.
yeah. I like that. Yeah. Oh no, God's looking after this person. May God be with you, and that's it.
Well, who are gonna take care of the human beings? If it's not the human beings themselves, I don't know who is gonna take care of us. I'm not saying that God is absent. What I'm saying is every time I am a teacher, so every time that I'm teaching, I am there with them. Okay, not in a pandemic state, but in a normal, the old normal. I don't know how to refer to when we were at class. Okay, but when I was in class, I was teaching, and they were and also talking to me and etc. So, but when I was doing the exam, the real one, the exam. So I give them the exam. I cannot talk to them. I have to be quiet. And I know what they need,
Mhm.
but I can't do anything because I already know and they have to learn. So at some point, learning and teaching can be very, very, I would say painful. It's not painful, the proper word, but at some point you want to interfere and say, look, that's it. That's the question. Don't do this. This is wrong. But as a teacher, you have to stay completely calm, completely just breathe. Breathe because they are going to learn and they are going to grow. Because if we want them to grow, we need to let them learn. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not sure about that, but exams are part of the process. And the earthly life is an exam.
Yeah.
You
Well,
agree?
and at the same time, I like this example, like what you said, because you have your learning schedule, like you plan months ahead what you're gonna teach in a methodological way, in a chronological way, in a way to make your students to understand what you're gonna say, but they will study for the test perhaps one day, luckily one day before, instead of practicing since the day one and see the evolution, see how the connection, how the interaction among all subjects. And we are, as spirits, in the same way. We live to study at the last minute, last day, and that's why we're suffering, because we want everything happen in that time we were studying.
Exactly.
And if something goes wrong, it's God. Like your students, when they go, they do a very bad exam. Oh, God didn't help me. Come
God didn't
on,
help her.
yeah, come
Exactly like
on,
that. Exactly like that.
yeah, yeah. Others you see like this. Hey, we're not going to exam. I'm waiting an inspiration to reach. Like
Exactly.
if they want
Mm-hmm.
channeling some spirit to say, oh, let's do the test for me, you know. But that's the point. And we are in this position because we, instead of working our imperfections every day, I'm not saying working means overcome. I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
working is a work in progress. You are adjusting. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you reach your point, sometimes you need to rethink your point, but at least you are working on this.
Exactly.
But no, we leave to study 1 hour before the exam. And when we get our grade and our F, F mark, we get disappointed. And now
That's
you
it.
blame the teacher. Oh, the teacher didn't approach this in during the classes. I never seen this. What she's talking about here? She teach something in the class and put another thing in the exam. So this is not fair.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You reminded me of a book, a notebook, and it was a psychiatrist who was writing it about some therapy that he worked with a girl, and he used regression, and she talks about more than 80 reincarnations, and he asks her, so what are you learning this time? And the answer is, I'm learning to trust. And at some point, he was waiting for more. Okay, give me more. Okay, give me more. Trust, and that's it. Because have you imagined how many tests about trust he was going to be submitted to?
Mhm.
It's not something easy, but it has to be done.
Yeah, and we have people here trying to work trustful, patience, love, charity, you know, and a lot of things. And they get frustrated. They don't reach everything. That I think, yeah, that's one of the problems we need to. We push ourselves too hard,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and we need to, instead of choose many virtues, just choose one. Let me work
Mm-hmm.
on this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you're gonna forget the others. You still work in the others, of course.
Prioritize.
Yeah, but you give, okay. Like this example you gave from the book. Okay, let me trust. Let me work my trust. Okay, in order to trust, you need to love. In order to love, you need to have patience. In order to have patience, you need to self-educate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's one thing pushes another thing.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we want to do everything at the same time, the same moment, and you want to pass, and we want an A plus at the end.
That's it. That's the perfect description.
You know, and let us know, guys. Join the discussion here. Let me know what you think about it. Are we talking here nonsense,
Okay, please let us know.
or just
Please.
me and Renata who are imperfect here? And well,
And
okay, done. Okay,
if they
done. Done.
prefer to
Done.
talk,
Just something here.
okay. So
This,
you need you prefer that.
uh, Danny said here, these examples about students are the best because it's exactly that way. Sometimes we complain, but inside of our hearts, we know that we didn't do our best. Of course, And
That's
especially when you teach an exam, I got an A plus, but you copy all the answers from whatever place you hold this. I did a lot this, by the way, so sorry, but anyway.
a lot of students
Yeah.
are doing that right now because of the internet. No worries. But at some point, when you need that, you have to learn. And if it's not by doing an exam, that sometimes you can cheat and that's okay. I'm not saying that cheating is okay, okay? But I know that it happens.
No, but the point, at the moment you are preparing your teaching sheet, you learn more. How many times I prepared this and I did the exam without checking that, because when I was doing this, I learned.
Exactly, exactly. That's it. When you need, you have to learn to do whatever it is that you need to do. So if you need to do something, I'm gonna say, okay, if you need to repair the chair in your home, but you don't really remember about application of forces and stuff like that, you can break a lot of um, parafuso screws.
Screw,
Okay, you
screws.
can break a lot of screws because you didn't really realize. Okay, so to connect this part with the other part, it's better if I do the force in this way. Okay, but you will learn eventually because you're gonna have so many mistakes that at some point you're gonna learn. But it was going to be much cheaper and much easier if you have chosen the test, the exam. That's it. The opportunities will remain happening in our life, okay? But depending on when we accept them as an opportunity and use them to grow, we are gonna progress faster. That's it. That's just it. God does not really punish us.
Hmm, hmm.
There are a lot of opportunities all the time, but it's up to us to accept them and to face them.
Yeah, yeah. And let me search something here, because I think it's a good example.
Okay.
We can refer ourselves. Uh, it's like when we think about the Sermon of the Mount. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, because when you think about this, the Sermon of the Mount, we need to think that these are kind of a hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Give an
In
example.
order.
Is an order. Let's give it just simple
Yeah.
an example here. Okay. Uh, Blessed are the poor in spirit, to theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Okay, when we say poor in spirit, is not materially poor. Poor in spirit is that spirit who are humble, who recognize their mistakes, recognize their faults, but at the same time, they do put some efforts in order to overcome this. I'm not saying they are succeeding, but it's a working in progress. That's a
They're
poor
trying.
spirit, because he knows his mission, he knows what he's doing. Okay. The second one is, blessed are those who are mourn, so they shall be comfort. So mourn is a kind of feel great. We will not. You will feel great. So you will not feel great. You will not be okay if you are not poor spirit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
That's it.
we are humans. We want to be in a first order of spirits, but we didn't. We are still here on the third.
We don't
We
wanna
still,
take the ladder. We don't. We
yeah,
wanna jump.
yeah. We still needed to do like let's say here that in the third order that we already said, but we stop. Perhaps we stop in being disturbed spirits, but now we are neutral. Neutral means you do good. Let's say how many times you breathed today.
Rare. At
Breath,
least
breath. How many times you breathe today?
Oh, I
How many
have no
times?
idea.
How many times did you blink your eyes today?
No idea.
Okay, so you do this
Automatically.
unconscious, automatically. We need to do the good in that way. But if I ask you how many times you did good today, you even though you have done one, oh, I did one, you still counting.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yes.
still counting this. Oh, I did one, and when you do one, you say to everybody, put in the newspaper, in outdoor. I'm the best person. See, I'm a good spiritist. I'm doing this. I'm getting there. But what we are talking about here is if you do good unconsciously. It's like you are breathing, like you're blinking your eyes,
True. True. As you
and
said, we are a work in progress.
exactly. So but that's the point. We are treating ourselves, and not we are treating ourselves. We put ourselves in that position, and for this we push us very hard, and the
Mm-hmm.
consequences pushing us hard is anxiety, depression, cancer, a lot of diseases, because we are not happy with ourselves. We're
Mm-hmm.
not happy with what we are achieving.
And we forget to remember the small achievements, the small ones.
Yeah,
And I'm saying something very, very simple. For example, if you have a garden and you see a flower today, that's something good because it reminds you of beauty. Know what I mean or not? Am I here?
no, I didn't catch what you're saying.
So if you have a garden, okay, and you realize that there is a new flower, and that instinctively reminds you of the beauty of the planet.
Yeah,
So that's something good. So you have good vibrations in your brain. So you're sending good thoughts, good waves, good vibes, and that's good.
yeah.
We
No,
have to
it
try
is.
our best.
It is. It's like you already live here in Ireland. When you say, "Oh, I live in Ireland," no, it's a beautiful country. But when you
It is.
start to live here, you stop to look around you. This is common.
Yes, yes. And much more than that, you
No,
forget that the rain is necessary for a green country. And instead of saying, thank you, God, or thank you, Jesus, for this bless, it's like, oh, it's raining again. This country, it rains a lot in this country. So if
yeah,
at some point, as I said, at some point, we are so comfortable in judging and condemning a lot of things that we forget the good things about the process. And they are small. The good things are not really, okay, now I'm gonna travel to whatever place is really, really good. So Maldivas.
yeah,
So
yeah,
now I'm gonna travel. Trust me, that's not what really matters. What really matters is a smile at home, is a flower in the garden, is a new hobby that you get, because at some point, if you realize all the vices and all the mistakes that we bring in our souls, it's gonna lead us to depression. That's not good. And the vices and the flaws in our soul, they are only telling us, look, this is an opportunity to grow. It doesn't have to be now, but it has to be at some point. And growing is good, and progressing is good.
Mhm.
You hear
And,
me?
and you were saying, Renata, is came across. I don't know if everybody watched or read the book The Shack. The Shack. Um, that is, I think, was the most important. It's not a spiritist book,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, the moral lesson that book is wonderful. For those who know, the shack is a cabana, you know. But that is one of the chapters, the judgment. So we act as a judge, but we are measuring our judgment in what we think is good and what we think is bad. Fights happens because it's always based on someone else viewpoint what is good and what is bad. Instead, instead of having a fraternal conversation, a common way conversation, no, we always judge ourselves. We judge the others based upon on our virtues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we judge the others
Okay,
based
my judge
on
just
what
arrived
we believe is
here.
right.
Yeah, I can see my judge just here.
Hello
My
there.
judge is here. Sit here.
Hello.
Stay here.
He's so
Okay.
beautiful.
Right. Okay. Say
So
hi to
beautiful.
everybody. Say hi.
Hello.
Okay. So this is the point we needed to put ourselves and think. We needed to stop to judge, and you need to trust more.
At least stop condemning.
Yes.
At least stop saying, look, my judgment is the right one, so I'm gonna level everyone by me. That won't work. Trust me, I have already tried. That won't work. Hey, no. Sorry. That won't work. But then again, if you have to think about the progress, and if I go back to my actual life and try to figure out the progress that I made, it is small according to my concepts. Okay, I could have done more. But
Mhm.
then again, if I'm gonna fight with myself, if I'm gonna argue with myself all the time because I did not reach what I expected, then I won't go further. I'm gonna stay here fighting and fighting or arguing and arguing. And I need to go further and I need to grow and I need to progress. And that's the challenge. The challenge is to try our best to realize what we need to improve, to realize what we can do, what it's not in our hands to change, and try our best to differentiate.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It's.
Yeah.
I like the way you said. You know, I like the way you said. We needed to to think more. Uh,
We need to
I,
forgive ourselves more.
yes, we need to recognize that we make mistakes, first of all. And
Exactly.
making
Exactly.
mistakes is part of the learning process. Yeah, do you agree?
It
Yeah,
is. Trust me, it is.
yeah. Don't ask if she has Irish accent. Don't. She's still four. She gonna make four. She's 4 years old on Monday. And on Monday, so she's still talking a lot in Portuguese, but she understands in
Cool.
English. She's starting. She speaks English, but she doesn't have the Irish accent yet. She will have someone like my oldest. My oldest, she does have an Irish accent. Yeah. Okay, okay, go there. Go play with mommy. Huh? Say bye bye. Go play with your mommy. So stay here and quiet,
Stay
okay?
with us.
Yeah. Focus, okay?
She's 4 years old, okay? Remember that, right?
We need to be focused. Yeah. So we needed to be more light with ourselves.
Mhm. That's it.
You know.
And we also need to if we talk about charity, we need to be charitable to other people, but we need to be charitable to ourselves. And that's important to remember because charity is not something that we only do to other people. We do that to ourselves too. So at some point, if you are waiting for forgive, to, I don't know, but God forgiveness. If you're waiting for God forgiveness, you might create an expectation so big, and that's not good to your heart. At some point, you're going to realize that you're going to have to forgive yourself because that's what Jesus expects from us, that we forgive ourselves. And I'm not saying continue doing what's wrong. What I'm saying is I forgive myself and I'll try my best to change. And I'm not saying that I'm going to change now that I know. I'm saying that as I live my days, I'm gonna try my best to figure out how I'm gonna do different. And if I make the same mistake again, that's okay. Let's try again and try even better to do what's right in that situation.
Yeah.
That's exactly as you said. That's the educational process. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and at the same point, uh, self-educate, self-education. That's a good way to start. No, you need
That's it.
to stop what you are doing and um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
have yeah, educational process. And then he's saying here, yes, Renata, educational process. Yes, it is educational process, but we need to give the first step first. We need to allow us to fix our
And
problems.
this educational process. Mhm.
No, well, how do you build the educational process?
And if you remember, I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
are you still? Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the educational process because that's something important. Do you remember when you were at school?
Mhm.
Stephen?
Yeah, I think there's a delay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you see me?
yeah, I can see you. I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, okay. So when you were at school, at some point, education was not something fun. Sometimes it was really, really boring because it was a process of repeating and repeating and repeating. And at some point, you're like, I don't want to repeat this anymore. And it was boring because the process of learning is something that usually requires a repetitive, uh, it's not process, a repetitive,
Patterns.
I'm going to say exam, but it's not an exam, okay? You have to I didn't listen, sorry.
No, I would say repetitive patterns. I think her internet is.
Exactly. And then sometimes it was boring. Sometimes for some people, math was painful.
Go ahead.
Hi.
Maths. You stop in maths.
Okay, so math. Okay, so math at some point was painful. Sometimes math. Okay, I like math. But the whole process, sometimes it was really nice. Sometimes it requires a lot of effort from us to learn. And that's how it is in life. Okay, there is no easy recipe to try our best to change into good spirits or good persons. I would say good persons even better. That's a process of repeating patterns and repeating and try our best to reach different results by doing different doing it in different ways. Okay, so if you try the learning process by doing it with pencil and paper and it didn't work, try your best with computers and change and change and change. So do the same thing with your moral life. Try your best to change until you get to a point where you reach it is where you're happy with that. Stefan, are you with me or am I completely
No, I'm with
down?
you. I'm with you. Well, her internet is.
So, and that's something that we have to remember. I'm saying that we need to do our efforts to learn and to change into better persons. But we need to forgive ourselves.
Go ahead.
Okay. But we need to forgive ourselves when we don't really get there. And I'm not saying give up. I'm saying is okay, breathe, take a good night of sleep, and then try again. And that's it.
Yeah. Don't put it here. One of our spirit teachers said we are not struggling, we are not evolving. Don't remember where I read that, not Kardec. Don't. I would say this spiritist teacher here. There are two ways to see that answer. The first way is suffering is from our viewpoint. So we think we need to suffer to learn a lesson. And this is our evolution. Like we need to pass to this trouble, all these problems, like today, COVID situation now around the world. We have been passing through this difficult situation to give some values, the lessons we need to learn with that. Perhaps we don't know now, but we will know in some years. But at the same time, this show how we need to act instead of trust God, instead of trust in life. We always trying to be under in control of everything. I'm not saying this interfering in our free will. We do have our free will without hesitation. But again, I said here sometimes our free will is limited according to
Can
our
I add
knowledge.
something?
Yeah, go ahead.
One, can you hear me? It's
Yeah,
better
I can
without
hear.
camera, isn't it? Is the delay okay? So I'm gonna ask John, okay? I'm gonna ask John something, and if he can answer me, I would love that. And that's it. When you learned how to ride a bicycle, okay, a bike, was it easy, or did you go through some really hard stuff to realize how you're gonna behave on the bike and trying to find your way to equilibrium over it? Was it hard to learn to ride a bicycle?
Yeah,
John?
no, I'm here. Your connection is not great at the moment. Sorry.
Okay, did Don answer? Was it hard to ride a bicycle?
Yeah, he was 5 years old.
Oh, okay, perfect. After that, when you learned to ride a bicycle, was it, did you learn directions and location by riding the bicycle? Steven? I
Is
was
that a
disconnected
question?
again.
Yeah, you're very delaying, so
Oh, I'm
it's
so sorry.
yeah.
After
Yeah, we don't
riding the bicycle, okay,
understand. Can you
okay,
rebuild
yes.
again?
If, okay, you learned how to ride the bicycle. After that, when riding the bicycle, did you learn location, directions? Did you learn this kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Was it painful then?
No.
No, because sometimes we struggle to learn something, but when that thing is learned, after that you learn without struggling. Did I make myself clear?
No. Yeah. No. No. Sure. Sure. It
And
is.
John,
Yeah. Yeah.
was he okay
So
too?
yeah. No. I love to. I love the freedom of getting away from my parents' watchful eye. Yeah, Don.
So
That's the
then,
problem
John,
with free
you.
will. That's the problem with free will. When you most of the times when you get away from the watching eyes of your parents, you get into trouble. You know.
I know. But the main
But
thing was when you learn how to ride the bicycle, it is hard. And at some point you struggle and say, I'm never gonna learn it. But then when you know how to ride it, then you learn a lot of things without struggling.
don't send you skip this. Okay. Okay, Don. I completely agree with what you're saying. No worries. No worries. We skip that. Let's change subject here. Yeah, but This is what we need to learn, guys. We don't need to suffer to learn. We only suffer because we want to suffer. That's the point. We
Or
push.
at some point, Stephen, sometimes we suffer because we don't want to grow in that direction.
Correctly. Yeah. 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 So, my dear, it's our time is up. We need to bring back the normal broadcasting here. Uh, suffering is mental, struggling, not necessary suffering. Correct. I suffered, learned to be in relations with girls. Yes, Don, I would say you got the message. Yeah, suffering is more mental because you push you hard. You try to achieve something. Perhaps you are not ready to achieve that. Perhaps you don't have the necessary tools to reach that point. No? Um, and suffer learning to be in relations with girls. We are men, Don.
And people are the real challenge. Trust
Yeah.
me.
Dealing with people is difficult. Men dealing with women is double difficult. No? Yeah.
You have
Uh,
three of them, Stephen. Three of them.
would suffering be more to do with pride?
Could be.
I, I think
Could be.
there is a relation, there is a correlation, but it's not everything. No, that is a correlation, but it's not always pride.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know,
That's it.
is
And that's
it,
up
uh,
and that's up to the person. There is not something some way to try to uniformize this. It's not like that. It could be related to pride, and it could not be related to pride. The only one who can answer that question is the person
yeah. For example,
who is.
when you're facing that situation, you need to ask yourself, I'm being prideful here. This is hurting my ego, or I'm sustaining that position because my ego cannot be changed. So then it's pride, for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. But when you are in a struggling moment, suffering, because you really don't know, is a learning curve for you, that's not prideful. And if it's not prideful, don't be prideful to ask for help,
Exactly,
because
exactly.
suffering and do not ask for help then turns to prideful. Again, in
True
our
story.
in our situation here, we need to be friends, we need to be living in harmony, we need to be all connected. What I'm good in something, I'm not good in another thing, but Renata is good in that thing. So we need to learn how to share. It's like a toy when we were kids. We need to share our toys, and we don't share. We keep that toys with us, but we keep that toys with us, wishing to have someone else toy. No.
Perfect,
And-
perfect.
Okay. Hey, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much
So,
for this
or
wonderful conversation.
I
Uh,
appreciate so much. Thank you guys. Thank you, Stephen. Thanks a million.
yeah, thank you very much, and be with us. And we'll be back soon next month. And Guys, don't forget, we do have on the 5th of November and 7th, 8th of November, the Spiritism Acts. So be in touch with the Spiritism Acts people. I think I do have an email here. Yeah, go to the web page, spiritismx2020.eventbrite.co.uk. Also, don't forget, we do have our lives every Tuesday and every Thursday, 7:15. And also on Wednesday, we do have our study group at 8 p.m. So we want to be part of the study group. Go to spiritismisland@gmail.com. And be patient with us. We are just here throwing what we know, what we learned, sharing experience. We want to try to share our toys here. That's the real story here. Okay? So let me do the final prayer.
That's it.
I would like to say thank you. Thank our brothers and sisters around the world who are here with us materially and by spirit. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all the help you have received from the Superior Spirit in order to talk about today's topic. I would ask you, Jesus, the mentors of Ireland, to guide the leaders, to guide the people from Ireland throughout this 6 weeks lockdown. Those brothers and sisters who are sick or who you get sick, may Dr. Bezerra Menezes and his team look after them. And not just here in Ireland, but around the world, especially in the North Hemisphere when we will start the winter. Struggling times, difficult times is on the horizon. May we stay united. May we stay connected in order to overcome this, as we're going to do this together, and you overcome this together. So be it. Amen. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Good night. Thank you, Renata. Thank you.